Who knew that a living substance with such a tiny mass could wipe out an entire population such as Poland's? Germs and pathogens, as tiny as they are going to wipe out the majority of the entire human race. It all starts out as something small. After all, an epidemic is always something you never expect. It is just the opposite of the expected. Instead, it is unpredictable.
First, you just experience a few common symptoms. Maybe you just have a fever, your head feels as if it's burning up, and at the same time you're getting chills. Or maybe you just perceive this as a stomach ache or nausea. After a few days of the illness progressively gets worse. It's only then that you realize that you're in serious trouble. From there, your pain and suffering from the disease will only worsen more if no cure is found.
One death can lead to more and spread like a wildfire. When disease diffusion occurs, it'll be hard to stop it before it wipes out a large part of the human population. We are currently in a race against the clock to find a cure for this pandemic disease, but that will take time and resources we do not have. It takes time for research to find how it spreads, the effect of it, how to stop it, and we may not have enough. Once they find the cure, little of the world's population will be left, and the crude death rate will be extremely high. Fortunately, you were one of the lucky few to survive this seemingly uncontrollable epidemic. Now only you and a few other refugees have to survive to rebuild this fallen Polish civilization and make it sustainable for humanity to live in. But how will you accomplish this great task? Fortunately, you are standing on Polish ground, which is favorable in your situation.
Poland was an ideal place to live in the past, and would be if civilization started over and reset to the Neolithic period, because its land is rich with many plants and food that could sustain a population. Due to the demography of the Polish, it is certain that during the Neolithic period there were plenty of foods that people started farming to consume, such as wheat, rye, barley, oats, and other grains. Because of the influence of the Celtics, at the time Poland had more advanced agricultural skills than surrounding clans and tribes. Once the assimilation of these skills occurred through acculturation with the Celtics.
Many of the domesticated animals that Poland had in the times of the Neolithic period was types of cattle, sheep, horse, and pigs that had come from the Celtics once the transshumance of their livestock stopped. These animals, especially the bigger animals like cattle, horse, and were very important for the development of the economy. The most popular use of these domesticated animals were labor, serving as a source of food, providing the materials needed to make clothing and other products.
During the time of the Neolithic period, Poland was a great place to mine and farm because the ground had such rich soil, which was loaded with natural resources, such as gold, iron ore, copper ore, lead, natural gases, and salt. There are many rivers that flow through Poland, but the Warta River and the Vistula River and the Oder River are some of the major ones. These major rivers in Poland acted as a source of water to the Polish, and they were crucial to their survival because water is necessary for everybody to live.
During this time, as the Celtics began to come live in this ecumen with the natives of the rural land and leave their Celtic movement, the quotas of the tribes living there began to multiply, and this was the cause of the population increase. Neither during this time or during the Middle Ages did the population suffer from an epidemic decrease because Poland was lucky to be spared of the pandemic Black Plague during the medieval times.
Whether you expect it or not, Poland is actually an extremely social and economically developed country. Evidence that backs this up is that Poland currently is the 8th largest economy out of all the other countries in European Union. One of the reasons for this are Poland's largest industries.
Thanks to the Industrial Revolution, many of Poland's industries are accountable for keeping the Polish economy very strong, especially some of the major industries such as the machine building, coal mining, steel and iron, and chemical industries. The largest of these is the chemical industry. Due to manufacturing of these products in the industries, the Polish economy has resulted in a steady growth over the years. Some of Poland's major popular manufactured exports are furniture, hardware products, casual clothing, shoes, food, and cosmetics. Out of the 38,642,960 people living in Poland, 51.8% of the population is female, and 41.2% of the population is male. This is the sex ratio of Poland's population. As for the total fertility rate, it's 1.37 births per woman. The population density is 123.6 people per squared kilometer. From the population of Poland, the dependency ratio is 39.6%.
In Poland, free health care is provided by the government to every child, pregnant woman, disabled, and elderly person. Over 6% of the country GPA is used on healthcare system for people of Poland.
Poland is the best place to get an education. At the age of 7, children start their education and can continue going to school for 22 years if they wish. The literacy rate is 99.8%, ranking in the top 40 in the world. It's also the best because the education is free to citizens and sometimes foreigners if they wish to attend a state college or a full-time university.
If there is one thing that is certain about the Polish economy, it would be that it is one of the most reliable economies present in the European Union. Due to Poland's GDP growth being about 4% each year since 2004 to 2008, Poland's economy has experienced uninterrupted economic growth for a long time, which has led me to believe that Poland's GDP will only grow in the next several years. This is also one of the reasons Poland's economy has not experienced any negative growth at all for many years, but instead has actually been experiencing sustainability. Right now, Poland is the top investment destination in Central and Eastern Europe due to low labor and living costs, a strong education system, and a large domestic market that in fact seems to contribute to the well-being of the economy and doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. There is no doubt that Poland's economy is certainly not an intervening obstacle.
Poland is home to some of the fastest growing technology companies in the world. These companies are great for Poland to have due to the growing use of technology everywhere in the world in this day and age. In the book, The Next 100 Years, it also been forecast that the next several years or so the United States will come to Poland bringing some of the most advanced technology any country could ever have, putting Poland at the top with one of the lowest infant mortality rate along with the United States.
Currently, Poland has 38,642,960 people living here, but this number is suspected to decrease in the next years to come because the crude birth rate and fertility rates are decreasing, and more people are living and aging longer. This means death rate is decreasing as well, which will cause the population decline. Poland is in stage 3 of the demographic transition model, which is characterized by decrease in birth rates. Just this year, the yearly change in population was negative 0.17%, making the natality rate negative 0.15%. So this means that there isn't a zero population growth, but actually a decline in population. In 2050, it has been forecasted that the population from ages 15 to 59 is going to decrease by 5.3 million due to immigrants leaving, which is causing net migration to become negative. But the decrease will mostly be caused by a declining birth rate, which in turn will shrink the number of workers available. Although this sounds like bad news, there is a way that the OECD will make up for this decrease by recommending to make a pull factor of policies that will increase labor force participation of immigrants and citizens to make Poland more appealing for workers, which will place utility on jobs. For anybody living in Poland, its education system would definitely not be one of the country's push factors, especially since these schools usually have desirable physical environments. Due to enrollment levels at universities in Poland being very high, Poland has a great amount of very highly educated workers, specifically in the Department of Science and Mathematics. This will be great for Poland's economy because it will increase the human capital of incoming workers. In 2006, 65% of the population was of age enrolled in colleges and universities in the country. This year, with Poland's population of adults having a literacy rate of 99.8% and children having a literacy rate of 100%, I can conclude that the majority of the entire population is well educated and will continue to be for the coming years because these percentages over the past few years have hardly changed.
It seems impossible, the idea of finding on this earth the most perfect place to live, to spend the rest of your life with those close to you, such as your family and friends. The idea of being able to find a paradise almost perfect, or rather a country that is ideal, maybe even consider the perfect place to live in, seems impossible too. The impossible, or what is considered impossible, is always happening everywhere. Just take a look at Poland.
Poland is most likely the closest thing we have to any type of paradise on this world, so why wouldn't you want to live there? Who wouldn't want to live in paradise? With a reliable economy that continues to grow each year, a strong education system that provides plenty of opportunities, a great universal healthcare system, and several technological advancements being made, Poland makes itself this world's paradise on earth. Because of these facts, Poland is the ideal place that everyone should want to migrate to voluntarily.